Bondi, Secretaries Marco Rubio, Scott Bessent, Pete Hegseth, Brooke Rollins, Howard Lutnick, Linda McMahon, Scott Turner, Administrator Lee Zeldin, who's done a great job. The nuclear power plant gets approved in less than a week. Okay? I'm only kidding, but pretty close to that. And we have more. Where's Lee? Stand up, Lee. One of my great superstars. Thank you. It used to take 20 years before you got rejected when you put in an application. Now we're doing them in a matter of weeks, right? And that's why we have the biggest plants anywhere in the world. We're leading in AI. We're leading in everything. Our auto plants are pouring back into our country. Wait till you see the jobs coming with them. But many of them are under construction. But Lee's done a great job in getting those approvals. I appreciate it very much. FBI Director Kash Patel, who's been very busy doing a great job. Also, thank you, Kash. Along with members of, see, you got a following, Kash. Along with members of Congress, and in particular, I want to mention Jason Smith and David Rozier. Where are those two guys? Come on, stand up, fellas. What good people. Jason knows more about the tax code than any living human being. He knows so much, we don't even want to hear about it, right? Too complicated. We're going to make it a simpler code. But we did in the great big beautiful bill, which just passed, your imprints all over that, and it's amazing. The biggest tax cuts in the history of our country for middle-income people. The biggest tax cuts in the history of our country for middle-income people, and the biggest jobs bill ever passed. And nobody thought we could get that one done. I'm glad. We actually put 4 years, actually probably 8 or 10 years, but we put 4 years worth of material into one great, big, beautiful bill. So that worked out very well, and I want to thank everybody for working on it. JD, that was a great, well, you know, we were going to do it in small bills. We're going to have 18 bills and do it along the process. I'm glad, Scott, that we got it done, because dealing with these Democrats, I think that was our one shot. But we have it all in one great, big, beautiful bill. Thanks as well to the chairman of the National Turkey Federation and the CEO of Butterball. That's a big deal. Jay Jandren. Where's Jay? Thank you. Stand up, Jay. Thank you very much. Along with his wife, Leslie, and their 3 children. Pardon those 2 people. I wouldn't pardon them. I wouldn't care what Melania told me. Darling, I think it would be a nice thing to do. I won't do it, darling. These are 2 of the largest turkeys ever presented to an American president, over 50 pounds each. It's the largest we've ever had. And those are big turkeys. Are they as good as the normal-sized turkey? Better or as good? Do they tend to be a little fatty, maybe? No, he said no. He knows the turkey business. Anyway, despite their size, Secretary Kennedy has formally certified that these are the first ever Maha turkeys. I don't know if I agree with that. These are Maha. In other words, they could be fat, but they're still Maha. They've been fattened on a steady diet of grass, beef, to allow the smoothies and all of the other things that they've been eating for this occasion. This was a really big occasion, but they've eaten every fattening food that you can eat. We wanted to really make them special, and they really are. They're like record-setting. I've never seen a turkey that big before. Are they violent at all? Will they attack as I walk over? Because if they were, I'll stay right up here. But as you know, we're a tough on crime administration. We are tough on crime. You know, our border had 0 people coming in for the last 7 months, right? 0. Even I find that hard to believe to be. They had millions and millions of people pour into our border from prisons, from mental institutions, gang members, drug dealers. They poured in to our country like we were stupid people. We're not stupid people anymore. But Nobody's ever seen anything. The job that they've done on the Tom Homan, Christy Noem, the whole group, the job they've done on the border is almost like a miracle. We have, and the people that make these statistics that said zero, they've said zero for the last 7 months. I can't, it has to be like a few people got in, but they say zero. And they're radical left Democrats to do the scoring. So I can't imagine they did that for us. The truth is, we have no people coming into our country illegally. It's an amazing statistic, and I'm very proud of it. And we have the most people working in the United States today, by far, than we ever had in the history of our country. So those are all good numbers. But instead of pardons, some of my more enthusiastic staffers were already drafting the paperwork to ship Gobble and Waddle straight to the terrorist confinement center in El Salvador. And even those birds don't want to be there. You know what I mean? It was a tough. I'd like to thank the president of that country. They do a rather efficient job. It's got to be the largest prison in history. I've never seen anything like it. And a lot of people are behaving on our streets now. You know, Washington, D.C. is considered a safe zone. This was one of our most unsafe places anywhere in the United States. It is now considered a totally safe city. I won't tell you about murders. We're having murders, like a lot of murders, on a weekly basis. We haven't had a murder in 6 months. And it doesn't sound good even to say that. We haven't had a murder in 6 months. But when you were averaging 1 and even sometimes 2 a week, and you haven't had 1 in 6 months, you can walk with your family down the middle of any street, go to a restaurant, you won't get in. They're opening new restaurants all over, and it's really been a beautiful thing to see. So Washington, D.C. is now a totally safe city. And a year ago, it was a criminal mess. We removed, Pam, 1,700 people, career criminals, and people that came to this city from Venezuela and many other places. They were let out of prisons, and they came here. They were Tren de Aragua, a lot of Tren de Aragua, that's from Venezuela. And we got them all the hell out of our country, or they're in prisons now. And you can walk down any street in Washington, and you're going to be just fine. And I want to thank the National Guard. I want to thank Pete Hegseth. The job you've done here is incredible. And I hear you having the same kind of success in Memphis, Tennessee, where you had an even worse situation. And Memphis crime is down 64% in 3 weeks. And by the time you have 4 or 5 weeks, you're going to have it down almost where there won't be crime. And we could do that in Chicago, by the way, if they would let us. If the mayor was a low IQ person, but he should understand this. This is a very serious thing. You saw all the crime that took place last night, the night before. The woman with the burning, they burned the woman. They'll be talking about that now. They burned this beautiful woman riding in a train. A man was arrested 72 times. 72 times, think of that. And they'll let him out again. The liberal judges will let him out again. But we're ready to go. You know, we've been moving toward Chicago. We have a governor that thinks it's wonderful that only like 7 people were killed this week. But we are moving toward doing it, and we're going to, if crime gets, it's horrible what's happening in Chicago. We could make Chicago a safe city in a period of 4 weeks. In a period of 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, it would be totally safe. And the people of Chicago want us to go there. And if you look at the crime that's taken place in Chicago in the last 2 weeks, just take a look. It's on the front page of every newspaper. It's out of control. The mayor is incompetent, and the governor is a big fat slob. He ought to invite us in, say, please make Chicago safe. We're going to lose a great city if we don't do it quickly. Make Chicago. We'll do the same thing as we did in D.C., the same thing as we did everywhere we've gone. It's become almost instantly safe. And I want to do it in Chicago. So, Governor Pritzker, if you're listening, let's get your act together. Invite us in. We're going to make your place so safe. You're not going to have these crimes that are making the newspapers and the front page of every newspaper and television story. news story will make Chicago a safe place very quickly. I looked at the various cases, granting mercy, discovering that the terrible trauma that everyone's going through. And I had a little bit of a Pritzker joke. I was going to talk about Pritzker in size, but when I talk about Pritzker, I get angry because he's not letting us do the job. So I'm not going to tell my Pritzker joke. They have a very cute little joke, you know. Some speechwriter wrote some joke about his weight, but I would never want to talk about his weight. I don't talk about people being fat. I refuse to talk about the fact that he's a fat slob. I don't mention it. On a more serious note, as we gather around the dinner table, I'd like to lose a few pounds too, by the way. And I'm not going to lose it on Thanksgiving, I can tell you that, because I'm going to have a turkey, but it's not going to be that one. I hope all Americans will have the chance to enjoy the fellowship of family and friends and renew our faith in God's providence. 1 year ago, we were a dead country 1 year ago. The King of Saudi Arabia said it to me actually 4 months ago when I was in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE. He said, you know, 1 year ago, the United States was a dead country, and now you've got the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're the hottest country. We have $18 trillion being invested. As of now, we're not even close to being 1 year. The most ever was $2 trillion for a certain country I won't name when during the last administration. In 4 years, they had less than $1 trillion being invested in the country. In 9 months, we have over $18 trillion. It's a number that nobody has ever even thought possible. And that's in building plants and building so many things, investments in our country. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. But we have more people working. We have more people praying. The churches are coming back. I don't know if you've been reading that story, but religion is coming back to America. Some people say, oh, why would you mention that? To me, that's a big deal. And this Thanksgiving, we're also making incredible strides to make America affordable again. Walmart announced that the cost of their standard Thanksgiving meal is 25%. Egg prices are down 86% since March, and gasoline will...
Saludos amigos de tampahoy.com, mi nombre es José Ángel Acevedo. En estos momentos estamos viendo el indulto al pavo otorgado este año a las aves Waddle y Goose en una tradición presidencial que se remonta a décadas. En estos momentos estamos escuchando al presidente Donald Trump realizando el discurso del Día de Acción de Gracias. En los pasados minutos hemos podido escuchar que el presidente Donald Trump ha estado haciendo un sinnúmeros de resúmenes de los resultados de las cosas que él ha estado prometiendo en su gobierno durante todo este pasado año y también lo que él estuvo prometiendo durante su campaña política. Estamos hablando de que él estuvo mencionando sobre inmigración, también estuvo mencionando sobre la seguridad en varios condados, en varias ciudades de Estados Unidos, y ahora estamos viendo aquí, él sigue mencionando y brindando información sobre los resultados de su gobierno en este 2025. Y bueno, en esta ceremonia presidencial siempre se otorga un indulto a los pavos justo antes del Día de Acción de Gracias. Mi nombre es José Ángel Acevedo y voy a seguir con ustedes aquí escuchando lo que diga el presidente Donald Trump en esta ceremonia tradicional de los Estados Unidos en la Semana de Acción de Gracias.
They've been waiting for, and I'll move over and I will just say very nicely, gobble your pardon. Come on, let's say it in front of gobble. Thank you very much, everybody.
Ahora podemos ver completamente en vivo a través de tampahoy.com el momento en el que el presidente y la primera dama ofrecen el indulto a Guaro y también Google en una tradición presidencial que se remonta a décadas. El Día de Acción de Gracias
Are you ready?
eh,
Gobble. I
Unidos
just want to tell you something
siempre
very important. You are
experimenta
hereby
este
unconditionally pardoned.
tipo de eventos todos los años. Como podemos ver, el presidente Donald Trump está eh, interactuando con este animal
Thank you very much,
que
everybody.
fue llevado a la Casa Blanca como parte de esta tradición presidencial de los Estados Unidos. Así que, amigos de tampahoy.com, busquen toda la información de esta noticia en tampahoy.com y en todas nuestras plataformas digitales de WFLA en español. Bueno, y de esta manera culminamos esta cobertura del indulto de los pavos, este indulto tradicional que se realiza en la Casa Blanca todos los años para celebrar el Día de Acción de Gracias. Y bueno, como les mencioné anteriormente, espero que sigan pensando cuáles son esas cosas a las que les quieren dar gracias y sigamos aquí en tampahoy.com donde vamos a seguir informándonos con las noticias de la Bahía de Tampa y también lo que ocurra en todo el país. Ahora les dejo aquí con imágenes de la Bahía de Tampa completamente en vivo a través de tampahoy.com.